I think this here is the best advice you can get as a street photographer. Thanks to Stuart for this iconic quote that I think deeply deserves a whole video because it focuses on what is really important. If you want to improve your street photography substantially, you basically only need these 6 tips from Matt. So let's look a bit deeper into what every part could mean for your next photo walk, alright? Yes, Matt Stuart couldn't be more spot on. Comfortable shoes are a street photographer's best friend. After all, what uses a world-class camera like a 10,000 euros Leica if your feet ache or you're trudging around in soaked shoes? But don't just stop at your shoes. Being relaxed and comfortable is crucial for a fruitful day of street photography. Dress appropriately for the weather. Try not to stand out too much. And this might sound basic, but it's important. Do not leave the house hungry, thirsty, or tired. I not only once made a mistake on a Sunday in July, or was it August? I'm not sure. Here in still very Catholic Bavaria, and with shops being closed, I ended my photo walk very early because, you know, with hunger and thirst, that really don't lead to great photos and fun in general. So be sure to prepare yourself. Grab a snack, a water bottle, and if you're a caffeine addict like me, plan for a coffee break. Oh, and switch off from the rest of the world. Put your phone on flight mode. Trust me, you'll be far more focused in these few hours of walking around with your camera. Alright, I confess I don't always have my camera around my neck, but the point here is to always have a camera at hand. What's the point of owning a Leica M11 if it's sitting at home when you stumble across a perfect shot? I always carry my small Fuji even if I don't plan to photograph in my bag or backpack or in the pocket of my jacket. For example, on the way to the supermarket or when I'm meeting friends. Believe me, it's better to have a camera and not need it than to need a camera and not have it. As a street photographer, the ability to move through a crowd without drawing attention is a skill worth honing. Practice shooting from the hip in crowd. Move smoothly, hold your camera close to your body and capture the moments you find interesting or the characters you find amazing. When you're checking your photos afterwards, it's like opening a surprise egg. You'll never know what you'll discover. But what definitely is not a recurring surprise is the videos here on my channel. They are all about street photography. So if you are one of the guys strolling through your city with a camera, don't forget to subscribe and to leave a like if you like. Thank you so much. When Matt talks about being patient, he's emphasizing an essential trait for a street photographer. Always linger a little longer than you initially intended at a photo spot. You don't want to miss the decisive moment because you've already packed up your gear, and that happened to me a lot, unfortunately. It's better to devote more time at fewer locations to capture that one shot that really makes you happy and proud. Even if your day out shooting doesn't result in stunning photos, remember the other choice the day had brought. You've spent time outdoors, soaking in fresh air and perhaps the beauty of your city or the energy of the strangers around you. You've probably treated yourself to a great coffee, taken time to observe your surroundings and owned your skill as a photographer. Every click of the shutter is a step forward in mastering street photography, and every hour you spend out on the streets with your camera builds experience. Let the small victories and positive moments fuel your passion, keeping you inspired and committed to making regular walks with your camera. No matter in which country on the world I did street photography, let it be Bangladesh, China, India, the US or Taiwan, even if I didn't spoke the local language, there is something which every human understands: a friendly, authentic, open smile. So when you're shooting abroad, you are not aware of every rule in this society, of course. For example, in Muslim countries, it's often difficult when it comes to photographing women. Or another example, in Taipei, I got lost in a district which was a bit shady, a mix of scantily clad women and guys that looked like the local mafia on every corner. But in Istanbul, I got away with photographing women wearing scarves, and in Taipei, Shanghai or Dhaka with shooting in some of the shadiest districts, because when somebody was staring at me, I tried to put on my nicest smile. And it worked. I think no matter where you are, it's always better to look like the maybe a bit naive but friendly guy than a creep. So smiling is always a good idea. I tip my non-existent hat to Matt Stuart for this insightful advice.